So DeathBattle is releasing Akuma versus Shao Kahn tomorrow. And what I find most interesting about that is personally I believe that Mortal Kombat characters would wipe the floor with their Street Fighter counterparts. Whether it's Scorpion or Liu Kang versus Ryu or Ken versus Sub-Zero, I think the MK characters would win for damn sure. Their abilities are too powerful and too different for Street Fighter characters, and their endurance is insane. Like, they could take 2 bullets and that'll be like 6 damage or some shit. They can get stabbed by a chainsaw or a machete and that'll probably be like 8% of their health. That is insane. Like, their endurance makes no sense. But Akuma, and I hate this phrase, is built different, too different from Street Fighter characters. Way too different. He's like a Dragon Ball Z character in Street Fighter. He's on like a planet busting level to an extent. At the very least, he can destroy countries. Like, there was the time where he jumped into the air and punched a comet that was coming to the earth that was going to destroy it. And just landed like nothing happened. There was also the time where he quote unquote was defeated by Ryu, even though he was really testing his ass and just like, but this was just an example, a small bit of my power, boy. And then punches the island they're on and it's just destroyed. Like, all he does is try to reach new feats in every bit of his endings. He's just doing something new to show off how strong he really is. He's more of on a DarkStalkers level compared to all the Capcom characters like Morgan, Jetta, Pyron, Dimitri. Pyron at the very least is a planet buster for damn sure. And those other characters are kind of on par with him, at least Morgan is. Now, Shao Kahn is obviously strong as hell. Like, he's probably the strongest in the Mortal Kombat universe besides, the Titans that they're now adding, which Kronika didn't really prove shit. She was terrible. Like, I wish they wrote her way better. But they did pretty much everything to make her a weak-ass villain. Like, her powers, they sounded overpowered, but she didn't really do shit with them. Very underwhelming. But Shao Kahn has always proven to be strong up until MK11. And not even just because he was trashed here in the gameplay, but him in the story was just pathetic. Kitana was always pretty good. Like, not like Liu Kang good, but losing to Kitana just made him look like he was whack as hell. It was strange seeing that damn fight. But yeah, if Akuma ends up going against MK11, Shao Kahn, it's not going to be a match. It's pretty much just going to be Akuma sparring with a motherfucker. It's not going to be good at all. But that's not going to be the case. DeathBattle always does almost like a compilation of all their abilities that they have shown. And they're not going to use his ass because he was like the weakest form of Shao Kahn. But that said, Akuma is too damn overpowered in general. Like, I feel like he could have crossed over into Dragon Ball Fighter and nobody would really even bat an eye because, yeah, he's kind of like, we know Akuma would smack the shit out of Krillin. Akuma is strong as hell. Stupidly strong. Like, people don't think he would be able to defeat Goku, of course, but all Akuma lives for is the fight, just like Goku. They both looking forward to just beating ass all day. And that's just main reason why Akuma's like, yo, he's just fighting incarnate, pretty much. All he does is fight. And even when you defeat him in the video game, it's like he doesn't even lose. The game loses. Akuma himself doesn't lose. Like in Tekken 7, when you defeat him on the arcade ladder, he just gets back up and yells to power up. And at that point, you're just like, yo, did I get killed off screen? The hell? So yeah, Akuma doesn't really lose. The game loses. And then you die. Off screen. This Capcom versus SNK 2 endings. If you look at the one where he's just in his regular form and you defeat him, he just says, thanks for helping me with my warm-up and shit. And then Rugal shows up, and then they fight for real. If you look at the ending where he loses as Shin Akuma, he quote unquote dies, and then he doesn't. Basically, like he gets swarmed by a bunch of souls apparently that won't let him die, some insane shit. And then even in Rugal's ending, when Rugal quote unquote kills him, and then you defeat Rugal, Akuma just takes over Rugal's body, saying that the power you stole from me is too powerful for you. So he's basically Akuma in Rugal's body, speaking to some weird philosophical shit about I am nothing and everything. So yeah. And not to mention, Akuma is voiced by Richard Epcar, who is always an overpowered fighting game character. And by overpowered, I mean he voices Raiden, Akuma, and Geese Howard. And apparently he also voices the Joker in the Injustice games. I had no idea. But even if you include the Joker, those guys never leave. They always find a way to come back somehow. Like, the Joker is a constant problem, as is for, like, the whole Justice League. And you could say the same about those characters in their respective franchises, where Raiden's a problem for Shao Kahn in Outworld and everybody else that opposes Earthrealm. Akuma is a problem for the whole Street Fighter cast, mainly Ryu, Bison, and any other Sasuke user. And Geese is just a whole problem for Southtown and Fatal Fury. Now you could say Shao Kahn does all those things too, but when Shao Kahn loses, he either sits the hell down or he dies. Like he might take a break, like in MK3 when he lost to Liu Kang for the second time, and hide out to recover his strength, which he needs from other souls. Akuma doesn't need anybody's soul. He has his own, and he hates relying on any other power. I mean, hell, you can see that from his quotes in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, when a teammate comes in, he's always like, back off. Akuma is very self-reliant. Shao Kahn is a bit too dependent on his soldiers. Like, yes, he is the commander and the most powerful of them, but he still is not self-reliant like Akuma is. Akuma is self-reliant to an absurd extent, to the point where he would shame Shao Kahn for the mere mention of even needing to bring an army to conquer a realm. And the only way I could see Shao Kahn possibly winning is if they use Armageddon Shao Kahn after he defeats Blaze and kills Raiden. If he's able to do that, then he might win against Akuma, but I have my doubts that they'll do that. But even then, Akuma has his Shin transformation and Oni, so that is pretty unbalanced from the get-go. And you know he's going to use it. Like, Shao Kahn will push you. Like, he is a hard-ass boss. But we're going to act like Akuma isn't. He's a boss in other people's games. In X-Men Children of the Atom, he just randomly shows up. He's not a boss in that game per se, but you will challenge him out of the blue and just be like, yo, what the hell? Why is he even in this game? I mean, he's like the OG of crossover in fighting games too. But I guess that's not that important. What am I kidding? Of course it is. He's the boss in Tekken. That's not even his game. That's not even remotely his game. He's in a 3D world whooping ass just because he feels like it. And he's the boss in the special chapter as well against Devil Kazuya after he took out Heihachi, who's supposed to be the strongest person in the game, next to Jin and Kazuya. And Akuma and Kazuya's fight ended at a standstill. We don't know who won and who didn't. I mean, Kazuya probably won just to continue the story, but Akuma probably is like, yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. My copyright is up for this game. He might end up in Tekken 8. That will be torturous. Even though I love him in Tekken 10, but holy hell, that man is just murdering the game. But yes, I think Akuma is going to win this death battle for a multitude of reasons. especially because of the transformations.